Right then, people, we're back inside the building. Welcome back to Breakfast with KXVU here on Trickstar Radio. It's been a fantastic show so far. Massive shouts out to man like Pedrin for joining us this morning, the brand new Breakfast resident. However, we are now moving forward into the interview hour. Our main event of the day, man like Scott Garcia is in the building, a living garage legend, one of the dons of this scene, and I'm so excited to have you in the building, man. How you feeling?
Oh, mate, I'm good. I'm not used to being up at this time of night, you know?
That's the time of night. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I saw on your Twitter feed earlier that it was very much an I'm awake sort of scenario. Thank you for being here.
I think I had about 17 snoozes. But yeah, I've sort of been trying to wake up since about 6:30 for this.
Oh, so. Amazing. I appreciate the commitment, man. I really, really do. Thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about. We've actually had this interview booked in for a fair amount of time, and obviously, we wanted to make sure we actually ran it when the station was properly up and running and everything was ready to go. And obviously, we've done it during this launch week, which we've had some amazing guests on, and it just continues to go. So first kind of question I want to ask, and it seems like a bit of an age-old question because it seems to be what everyone's talking about. But obviously, over the last year, we haven't been able to get into the dances. We haven't been able to get into more sort of rave scenarios. So I want to know, someone like yourself, like how have you been filling the time?
Oh man, well I suppose like there's two sides to it. On the one hand, I think that I was working so hard leading up to when the lockdown happened that it was kind of at first a refreshing reset. Once you got past the fact of not working and the income side of it, I was quite enjoying the time, the free time, because I live quite a hectic life, sort of juggling all sorts of, with the music stuff and the businesses. I'm fairly busy. So it was at first quite a refreshing break. And now I'm pretty much climbing the walls. So I've literally, I've gone through the whole spectrum of emotions with it. But I've managed to keep myself quite busy in terms of, with the music stuff, studio, which is something that I didn't have time for before. I'd got into this place where I couldn't really hit the studio as much as I wanted to, because by the time I had some free time, I was exhausted. So I just would never really enjoy the studio sessions I was doing. So in fact, the one thing that's come out of lockdown for me is actually making some fresh music and enjoying making music again. I'm just kind of using my little studio setup at home as a pastime, really.
Awesome, man. Yeah, no, definitely. And this is a similar theme we've had with a lot of people who've come on this show and kind of talk through, as we just said, like what people have actually been filling the time with. That almost like that relationship with studio a lot of the time, for a lot of artists, tends to be quite like a strained one. It's like, oh, when I finally get into here, I'm not actually in the mood to do it. So I suppose for a lot of people, all this extra spare time, all this time where you are locked inside, it almost gives you a wider range of times where you might be in a position and might be in the mood to actually make some music. Yeah,
and I think less guilt, about sort of staying up all through the night when I've got stuff to do in the morning. My body clock is now back to my sort of original teenage years. I'd say I go to bed at about 5 a.m. and wake up sort of as early as I can. So it's. But yeah, aside from the sort of weirdness of it all, it's been really great for me to get back in touch with my creative side. So that's what I'm taking from the whole lockdown thing, and just sort of, and hopefully being able to continue that as things open up more and being able to find a place within my sort of schedule to do this more often.
Definitely, man. Definitely, 100%. And I think that's a really good thing. Obviously, finding the positives of situations like this is something is obviously the best thing we can do. And obviously, kind of worldwide now. I certainly feel this. I mean, for a lot of the review work we get sent over, and a lot of just watching music in general, it definitely feels like garage especially, is in a really kind of healthy place right now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you didn't say garage is making a comeback, because I literally hear that every time I speak to someone. No, it is. That's a great way to describe it. It is in a very healthy place, and I think that also sort of lends itself to why I've been feeling a bit more creative as well, because it's a lot more inspirational at the moment. Some of the stuff that's going on, kind of makes you think, I want to be doing more of this. So yeah, it's garage. I mean, garage has been there, since day one. It has never really gone away. However, it does sort of grow in size, in the amount of popularity it has with different age groups, you know. And I think at the moment where we are is where it's sort of appreciated and respected by all of the age groups.
Definitely.
Which is why it's really strong at the moment. And it's just kind of, yeah, it's an exciting time, man. I just wish that we had the clubs open now, you know. But,
100%. No, I completely agree. I think I'm something to kind of touch on with this, because obviously you're someone who is very, very established in this scene. You're someone that's had hit tunes. You're someone that's been kind of part of this for a very long period of time. So when you kind of see a lot of these new artists coming through, does that kind of continue to inspire you, like directly?
Oh, 100%. I think that, you know, that's all you have. I mean, if you go back to the early days, that's what you was inspired by. You was inspired by finding a record by a name that you'd never heard of that you thought was absolutely sick. And that still, you know, extends itself to today. And I think the new generation of garage producers, especially, are really, you know, there's some really, really strong, talented guys who have sort of taken the baton, so to speak, and now they're you know, they're putting their own sort of stamp on the sound and taking it in directions that they want it to go, which is great, you know. And yeah, it's really inspiring, and it's great to see it connecting with, like, you know, like, obviously, you know, without giving away my age, you know, my son, you know, my oldest son, he's sort of 23, he's 24, and basically he's, you know, his friends and his group of friends like garage the same way that my group of friends from my age group like garage, the same way that the group in between. So it's just great to see it sort of spreading across the spectrum of ages.
Definitely.
And everyone sort of enjoying the sound again. And it's, you know, it's really inspirational
100%.
to see it. You know,
definitely, bro. No, it's amazing. Like, it's almost quite unique in the way, I feel, with garage, because garage is such a UK genre. It's obviously hitting that worldwide stage now, but I feel out of all of the genres that have emerged from here, garage is one that we all kind of hold very kind of close to our hearts. You know, we're kind of like, that's ours. That's one of ours.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a UK thing. You know, it's literally. You know, this music, although, you know, inspired by American music, is probably one of that and jungle, I'd say, are the two sort of musics that we can really say, you know, that we can fly the flag for.
100%.
You know, it's a really good. It's good for our music industry for certain.
100%, man. I mean, this is where it gets fun. Kind of moving forward, because we have been sent some exclusive music. Thank you for sending these over. I love running exclusives on this show. It gives me so much joy, and it just adds so much energy to the morning. This one goes by the name of Magic Returns. We're going to jump into this one first. Talk to me very quickly about this tune and what we can expect from it.
Okay, so basically, I've been revisiting maybe my early sound, let's say, like the stuff that I was doing in the earlier years of my career. So, and I've been having loads of fun just making it. And this track, I actually made it last week. It was made in my front room.
We're talking hot off the press then. We're talking bang off the press.
It was made in my front room. My youngest son, Scott Jr., actually features on the track. It's a follow-up to a track that I made 20 years ago called Magic's Gone.
Wow.
And that was on an EP series that never happened. So it was called the Dark Series Volume 1, but there was never a Volume 2. So basically, this is taken from Volume 2, which has taken 20 years to get done. but we have done it, better late than never. And it features my son, Scott. And I know he's locked in as well, listening. So out to Scotty. Love you loads, mate. And he'll be doing his homeschooling very soon. I'm sure he'll probably be starting very soon. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. And also, I can't forget, it features Jay Harvey, one of my old-time friends of the garage scene, who I've done some tracks with before, and he was just ready. So I sent him over the track. He loved the idea, and he put down some vocals, sent them back to me, and I just done what I'd done, and there we have it. We've finally got a Dark Series Volume 2. There's another 2 tracks that go along with it. So that's Magic's return.
Amazing, man. We're going to jump into this one right about now. I'm so excited for this one. We're live on Breakfast with Kovu, Trickstar Radio, man. Like Scott Garcia is in the building. Don't go anywhere.